we're going to go to Newberry and visit with Alana West, who's the 4-H agent there, and her two charming daughters. We have Paisley and we have Samantha, and it looks like Halloween is going up there. We've got Alana. It's obvious to me that you have decided to be a pirate, but Paisley, what are you going to be this Halloween?
A deer hunter.
A deer hunter. And do you know anything about deer hunting?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you know things about deer hunting, honey?
I go hunting with my dad.
Okay. And do you like to eat venison?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay. And then Samantha, I guess that those are those horns or antlers on top of your head?
Antlers.
So deer have antlers.
Yes, ma'am.
And what's the difference in a horn and an antler?
If they have a horn, it's just one. If they have antlers, it's two.
Okay. And the horns stay on forever and antlers fall off every year?
Yes, ma'am.
So the white-tailed deer antlers do fall off and come back.
Yeah, that's growing a lot of antlers. You be sure you're taking your calcium. Okay. So I think we've got kind of a Halloween or fall themed recipe, Alana, and you've been doing you're still doing virtual 4-H with your kids, and so are you going to start us off kind of the way you do with your kids, like when you're teaching virtually?
Yes, ma'am. So most of our clubs across the state are meeting virtually, and in Newberry, our cooking clubs are some of our most popular. So we have a virtual cooking club that meets once a month. I send them a video that I've made so that they can kind of make it along the way, and then we meet virtually a few weeks later, and they talk about whether they liked it or didn't like it or what they would do different. So today we're going to use pumpkin as our main ingredient, and we're going to make pumpkin pie, but we're going to make it in a bag instead of a bowl. So this is super easy for kids to make, or if you're, not a chef and you're an adult, then this should be pretty easy to make.
Okay,
it's also something kids like. We've done this before with our cooking clubs. My kids actually like this, which is unusual. So,
school teacher, take it over.
Okay, so what we do in our cooking clubs, first things first, kids, what do we wash?
Our hands.
Our hands. And most people know that, but if you're also dealing with produce, whether it be vegetables or fruits, you want to wash those too, because you never know who's handled those in the grocery store or what kind of chemicals they might have on them. Something I didn't learn until I was an extension agent. Our cans also should be washed, because think about where they were sitting prior to you grabbing them and taking the lid off and wanting to use those. So they could have dust or germs on them. So wash those off as well. Now I've already done all that. So we've washed our hands, we've washed our can, we've got it open, ready to go. But I also tell my kids we should read the recipe all the way through first. And I'll read it in our clubs normally when we meet in person, and they'll say, check, just to make sure we have it. That way we know we're set, ready to go. So you ready, girls? You want to start? We need cold milk.
Check.
Instant vanilla pudding mix.
Check.
We've got solid packed pumpkin.
Check.
Pumpkin pie spice.
Check.
Graham crackers.
Check.
And let's not forget the whipped cream topping.
Check.
All right, so we're also going to need quart freezer bags. Show them your quart freezer bag, girls. We've already got our can opening, but we're going to need some measuring cups, measuring spoons, some scissors, and I didn't grab napkins, but since we're going to be eating what we made, I'm assuming they're just going to lick their fingers anyway, right? Are y'all ready to start?
What if you had apple pie spice instead of pumpkin pie spice? Could you just use that instead?
They're pretty interchangeable. There's just one spice difference. So the flavor profile is not that different.
So it's not worth the running to the grocery store.
Oh no, gosh, no, not around here. We use what we have.
All right. Okay.
All right. So we've washed our hands. Step number 2 is measure the milk and then pour it into the freezer bag. So I'm going to be splitting this recipe in 2 so they both can make their own pie. Okay, so open your freezer bag, girls. So we're going to put half a cup of milk into each freezer bag. So if you have little kids at home, make sure someone's helping them so they're holding it pretty tight. Okay, don't let go.
You're just going to split that up between them.
I am. Half a cup of cold milk.
Okay.
All right.
I think y'all have a local dairy up there that y'all often use, don't you?
We do, yes, ma'am. All right, the next step is add the instant pudding. So this is a 4-ounce bag of instant vanilla pudding. I did notice there was French vanilla pudding and vanilla pudding. Just grab whichever one.
Okay.
All right. And since I'm splitting this, I'm going to split this pack too. About half and half.
And this is instant vanilla pudding.
That's very important because, you know, we're not cooking. We're doing all this in a bag.
Yeah, that's nice with children because you don't have to worry about anybody burning themselves.
That's right. I do have one of my children that would try it though. All right. So once they get their milk and their instant pudding in the bag,
yes,
you want them to get all of the air out and then seal it. And this is where adults really should check behind them that it is sealed all the way, because you can imagine the mess. Your pumpkin pie wouldn't be in the bag anymore if you didn't seal it. All right, so we've removed the air. We have sealed the bag shut. Now we are going to squeeze or knead that milk. So instead of stirring, basically you're kind of mixing it up in the bag.
Okay, and that instant pudding really does mix very easily because I've used it before. It's not real hard to do.
That's right. Paisley looks like she got a little bit more milk, but that's okay. Keep squishing. You want to squish it until everything's kind of dissolved, which is the whole point of using the instant pudding.
Sure.
So it says to knead this with your hands for about 1 minute until it's well blended, and then we are going to measure and add the pie spice into the bag. So the pie spice is half a teaspoon. So I try to make sure my kids in our cooking club understand the difference in a teaspoon and a tablespoon. If it's an abbreviation, it's a little T for teaspoon and a big T for tablespoon.
That's a good thing for everybody to know.
Oh yes, because that can kill a recipe if you mess that up.
And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, are there 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon? Is that how it goes?
That's correct. All right, I'm going to have the girls open their bags, and I'm going to put, it calls for a half of a teaspoon, but since we're splitting the recipe, I'm going to put a 1/4 of a teaspoon in each bag.
Okay.
So open your bag. All right. Don't seal it up yet. Okay. And then we're going to measure, add the canned pumpkin. All right. So we've got 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin here. Mm-hmm. And it says to use half of that. So I'm going to basically put a 1/4 of this.
And this pumpkin pie, this is not like, this is just plain pumpkin. It's not pumpkin pie canned.
Correct. It's not pie filling because
not
we've
sweet.
added all the other stuff that would make it pie filling. So we have got.
So this is plain pumpkin.
That's right. All right. So you're gonna squeeze the air out again, seal it up. Parents double check that, and they'll squeeze and knead away.
And Elena, you know, now that we can so many sweet potatoes in South Carolina, and I know you told me that y'all are really trying to use things in your pantry. I guess if you had canned sweet potatoes, you could kind of substitute that and have something pretty close. What do you think?
Kind of close to sweet potato pie, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Listen,
that's
I'm all about using what you have. We had some leftover chocolate milk this summer, so I decided to make pound cake with chocolate milk instead of regular milk. So I won't say it was the best, but it was pound cake. So I also attempted macaroni and cheese with nacho cheese, which I wouldn't recommend. That wasn't the best.
Well, you know, you have to try different things. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm game. So, all right. So we sealed the bag and they're kneading it again for about 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. While they're doing that, I'm going to get their plates ready.
Okay. And
their graham crackers, which are going to serve as our pie crust, basically. And you know, you can get different kinds of graham crackers, the honey flavored, the cinnamon flavored. I actually think this would be really good with the chocolate graham crackers.
Everything's good with chocolate.
Just going to break them in half. Get them on the plate. All right. And then this is super easy. And if you've never iced some cupcakes at home without all the proper tools to ice cupcakes, this is a really easy way to do it. So you've got your pie here. You're going to clean out a little corner. Clean out a corner, Sam. So you've got a clean corner. And then we're just going to snip a very small piece off.
Oh,
so now,
okay.
You can hold it and squeeze out onto your little pies there, on your little pie
So
sheet.
if icing, you could squeeze it on top of the cupcake.
That is exactly right, and that's how I do
What
my
a great
cupcakes.
idea.
So have at it, kids.
Mm-mm-mm.
And
It
then
looks like it all mixed up well and set up real good too, doesn't it?
it does. And then, of course, we've got the whipped cream on top. And I did use excuse me, Paisley. I've got the whipped cream in the can because it is made from real cream as opposed to the tub kind that's not made from real cream, just to support our local dairy or our dairy farmers. So
Yeah.
I'm almost afraid to let Paisley use this because I know what she's going to do with it. All right, so I'm going to get this, shake it up first, get some air in it, you know. All right, and then you can top your pie with a little bit of whipped cream there.
Okay.
Single pie up the side.
Do each one and we'll show them. All right, pass it over. And the great thing about this is it's in a little baggie, so you can save it for tomorrow, you know, and have some pie tomorrow too.
Isn't that fun? Oh gosh. Woo!
I wonder if deer and deer hunters eat this stuff. So can you guys see that?
It's beautiful.
It does look professional, doesn't it?
It really does.
And that's how you make pumpkin pie in a bag.
Well, let's see if we can get some smiles from the hunter and from the prey. Y'all gonna take a bite for us?
Yeah, take a bite.
Give us some big mm-mm-ums.
I'm good.
It looks wonderful. Alana, a lot of people or some children are in school, some are at home. There's a lot going on. But I know that 4-H, you don't just do things that are directed to your county. Aren't there some ways that people around the state can get some 4-H ideas to do with their kids, no matter where they are?
Yes, ma'am. On our website, there we have kind of a list of things that are still going on that you can still participate in, even though we can't meet face to face yet. We have a lot of independent projects going on. Our Healthy Lifestyles team just decided to have some cooking video demonstrations, or it's really a challenge. It's almost like a little competition. And each month we have a different theme or a different highlighted ingredient. So while September we did apples, for October the ingredient is pumpkin. So maybe I can talk this deer and her hunter into making a little cooking video of their own and submitting that for our cooking video challenge. And then we'll do those each month. But we do have a few options like that are going around the state. You can follow along on our Facebook page or check out the state website. You can also specifically look up your county and see what might be happening in your county, because agents, we are offering things just county specific as well.
I hope that my little deer outruns the hunter this time, and and then it's another deer that goes in the freezer. And I want to thank y'all so much for sharing a great, wonderful idea for us to do at home together. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us, Amanda.
Bye-bye.